Before becoming famous, Chris Hemsworth only dreamed of surfing. Before becoming famous, Chris Hemsworth played in an Australian soap opera, where he participated in 192 episodes. Before becoming famous, Chris Hemsworth worked out a lot, and his good physical shape allowed him to get the parts, even with no acting experience. Before becoming famous, Chris Hemsworth managed to take part in the Australian version of the show, Dancing with the Stars, where he only took 6th place though. This is before they got famous, and today, we will tell you how an Australian boy from a poor family grew into a top movie star and became a Hollywood sex symbol. Our story begins on August 11th, 1983, when a boy named Chris was born in the family of an Australian farmer and a teacher. Chris's childhood turned out to be a restless one. His family was constantly moving, and his 2 brothers, the older Luke and the younger Liam, were the only true friends in this situation. Chris just didn't have time to make friends with other boys. This affected the future of our character, where he will constantly maintain a close relationship with his brothers, especially with the younger Liam, who looks like Chris has 2 drops of water. They are often mistaken for one another. Going back to Chris's childhood, it was worth talking about his hobbies. Along with his brothers, the boy liked to act out various skits and mini plays at home. No, parents were not preparing their children for an acting career on purpose. It was just the talents of artistic boys bursting forth. Although at the time, no one could have imagined that all 3 of them would connect their lives with the film industry and become real cinema stars. The first passion of Chris Hemsworth was far from acting. The family of the future actor settled down for the first time after moving, when they stopped in a house on Phillip Island. And there, Chris found his passion, surfing. His father taught his son to conquer the waves, and over time, the boy began to spend all his free time with the surfboard. This hobby required good physical shape, so Chris spent a lot of time in gyms, which, as a result, determined both the main advantage of the future actor and his future disadvantage. The thing is that the boy was always in excellent physical shape, and his natural beauty made him a real handsome man. So, Chris Hemsworth often won roles not so much for the quality of his acting, but for his unique appearance. It makes sense, as he spent much more time surfing in his youth than working on his acting skills. Therefore, Chris basically had to learn his craft literally on the go. He was often criticized because of that. He was said to be wooden on the screen and lacked a wide range of acting skills. Chris was called a bodybuilder, not an actor. However, let's leave it for later and get back to the youth of our character. And what do you think? Is Chris Hemsworth more of an actor or a bodybuilder? Because Chris Hemsworth's path in cinema began with uncertainty. In his youth, the guy simply did not know what kind of activity to connect his life with, so he just tried himself everywhere. One day, his life path led him to the casting of the Australian series Neighbours. There was no plan in this. It's just that Chris's older brother Luke one day went to the audition for this project, and Chris himself went along with him. Both of them ended up passing the casting successfully. Both received their episodic roles, first experience, and first small fees. At that time, Chris was 18. The new job did not become something defining, just another spontaneous income. But even this was quite enough for a guy with a beautiful physique and an undiscovered acting talent to be noticed and singled out from the crowd of the same newcomers. He was offered a new role of King Arthur in the film Guinevere Jones. The picture was not the best, but it was often played on television and found its young audience. Handsome Hemsworth was noticed again, and he himself finally decided on the future. From 2002 to 2004, Chris Hemsworth received cameo roles in various Australian TV series. And at the end of 2004, he finally got a really big job, a role in the popular Australian soap opera Home and Away. Surprisingly, the guy auditioned for the main role in the series, but as a result, he got a secondary role, however quite recognizable. And it turned out to be a real gift of fate, not a curse. It was for this work that Hemsworth received the Loki Award as the best young actor in Australia. Interestingly, this award was named after the Norse god Loki, as if foretelling Chris's future. Starring in Home and Away was a real jackpot for the future Hollywood star. He received literally everything that he lacked: stable screen time, practice in acting, recognition of the general public in Australia, recognition in the motherland, and, most importantly, he managed to work with dozens of different actors. This is how he himself described that experience. This is a real soap opera with different plot questions, from "Who is my father?" to "Who stole the milk from the store?" I've been working on the set for 3 years. The ready material was sometimes good, and sometimes not quite. Dozens of directors have changed during that time. For a novice actor, such experience is more effective than drama school. Teachers can tell you how to do certain things, but on the set, you have to quickly learn everything from your colleagues. I am grateful for this period of my life. When the series was over, Hemsworth was already a real hope of Australian cinema, and in 2006, he even took part in the local version of the show, Dancing with the Stars. The saying, "talented person is talented everywhere," however, did not work for Chris in this case, and the young actor took only 6th place on the project. However, he achieved another goal. He increased his recognition even more. As a result, he received several new roles, and just 3 years later, when the actor realized that Australia can no longer offer him anything in terms of career development, he made a fateful decision. He went to conquer Hollywood. The pace of his career development from that moment began to grow in geometric progression. He literally immediately got the role of George Kirk in the series Star Trek, then played in 2 smaller pictures and a short film. And then he got the role that changed everything. In the same 2009, Chris Hemsworth auditioned for the main role in the adaptation of the Marvel comics about the Norse god Thor. It seemed that there was simply no chance of getting the role. Not only was Hemsworth very nervous at the auditions, but also the competition for a place in the blockbuster was insane. Charlie Hunnam, Alexander Skarsgård, Kevin McKidd, Tom Hiddleston. Nice company. Even Chris's younger brother Liam auditioned for the role. And, in fact, Chris did not make it to the final 4 candidates, but Liam was there. So we could have had another Hemsworth as Thor. However, Chris had a persistent manager, who himself called the directors of the picture and asked to give the elder Hemsworth a second chance. They agreed, because according to the physical requirements, Chris was the best fit. The second audition, the actor passed much more successfully, and so Chris Hemsworth managed to attain the role of a lifetime. And the result did not take long. In 2011, the first movie about Thor from Marvel was released. The main antagonist of the picture was Thor's brother, Loki. Let's recall the first award that Chris received in Australia. Then there was a movie about the Avengers from the same Marvel, where all the heroes of the Fantastic Universe came together on the screen at the same time. And Hemsworth was able to work on the same stage with Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and many other world-class stars. At that moment, Chris himself became a world-class star though. He made his way from a surfer to a Hollywood superhero thanks to his ability to learn quickly. His further story, a happy marriage, a successful acting career of the brothers, participation in a large number of completely different films with significant budgets, the status of the sexiest man on the planet. All this is the story of a Hollywood superstar. Subscribe to our channel. We have many more stories about stars before they got famous. Click and watch.